So I've already recorded the beginning of this video. I filmed for 2 hours and then I deleted the first clip off of my memory card, could not recover it, so I'm back. It's future Murphy. It's a different time of day now, so the light is coming through the window a little bit more, even though I have blinds up. You don't care. The point is, at some point there's gonna be a shift in lighting and probably in my demeanor. That's why. So we're talking about Marineford. Oh good, I'm still just as articulate. Marineford was only 30 chapters, but there was so much packed into those 30 chapters. So what I try to do with these videos ever since I've gotten to this level of investment in One Piece, what I've tried to do is, with how densely packed these chapters are, I try to hit on the little moments. Oda is really good at jam-packing his chapters full of action, full of excitement, full of amazing character moments, but also full of a lot of little moments, a lot of little things that add up to big stuff, a lot of build-up, a lot of seeds laid, and a lot of theory fodder. And I try to do my best in these reviews to hit on all those little moments. With Marineford, I just ask that you forgive me. I mean, I've already recorded this entire video, so I know how long it is. But I ask that you forgive me because there will be some moments that I will kind of breeze past or maybe not even mention because there's so much packed in these 30 chapters. I'm doing my best to hit everything that hits me hard, but there are smaller moments that I may not be hitting on as much. Please forgive. I've already recorded the video, so also please forgive me for how few words I have to express what happened to me while reading this story. So Marineford opens with the whole world waiting alongside us, the readers, with bated breath for what's about to come. Excellent, excellent beginning. We get the reveal of Ace's mom's name. Was that in the last arc? Honestly? Was it? But we also get the reveal of where she used to reside, the fact that she had a D in her middle name as well. Anyway, we find out that Ace is the son of Roger, of the Pirate King. I did not see that one coming. That one really took me by surprise. I have so many things there's so many implications that come with this, and I'm not really sure how to sort through them all at this moment. But this was a big reveal for the world and for me and for the readers. So anyway, we'll move past it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of those implications later. But anyway, the world government decided when they found out that Goldie Roger had a son, or he got someone pregnant and that person is hiding. So the world government decides to go and kill every pregnant mother or child that even looks suspicious. So they're going about this entire area and slaughtering people that could maybe possibly be this person. They don't even need confirmation. Just suspicion is good enough. We also find out that Ace has a D middle name, which maybe we already knew, but we know that he was named after his father, Goldie Ace. I mean, mostly after his father. And we get confirmed that Luffy and Ace are in fact essentially adoptive brothers. Luffy is still the son of Dragon and still the biological son of Gramps, but Garp has taken on Ace and raised them as brothers. So they're essentially adoptive brothers. I'm taking this. Buggy is awesome as always, taking credit for things that he didn't do, and Whitebeard arrives in the most iconic way possible. Oh, also Luffy just casually drops the bomb that his brother is the son of the Pirate King. This is information he's had the whole time, something that he's deemed insignificant and therefore doesn't bring up very often, but it was relevant here, so he casually drops that as if it didn't just knock every reader over 5 minutes ago. He's just like, oh yeah, you know, that thing that I know. All right, man. So Whitebeard shows up, cracks the atmosphere with his tremor fruit, or powers, destroys a whole bunch of things, creates earthquakes, instantly upon arrival solidifies himself as someone we love as he barges in the room with "Where's my son?" and then proves his power. The man that we have already been promised is the most powerful man in the world. He walks into the room and just goes ahead and solidifies that right away. Then we're launched into a backstory where we find out that at a young age, Ace was offered the position of a warlord. He wants to go and thank him personally for saving his little brother. I love that. And we get to see kind of a very short homage or a short compilation of Ace trying to sneak attack, trying to kill Whitebeard, and Whitebeard easily dodging him, easily evading these attacks. Oh, we also see Jimbei challenging Ace. We see Jimbei's dedication to Whitebeard as well, which I don't think we understand yet. All we know is that Whitebeard did Jimbei a great favor at some point, and so Jimbei is dedicated to Whitebeard, but we don't, as far as I picked up on, we don't really know what that means yet. But Ace does match Jimbei's power, and it's good stuff. I loved this flashback because I love seeing how strong and powerful Whitebeard is, but I love also seeing the beginning of Whitebeard and Ace's relationship, where Ace is repeatedly trying to kill this guy who took him in, as well as repeatedly, essentially betraying him with these attempted murders. And Whitebeard just so easily evades, so easily handles that, but keeps him on. And we can fill in the blanks to see that he eventually won Ace's trust and then earned the position of Pops. And then we see them where they are now with this bond. And it's good stuff. Then back in present, Whitebeard shows up and says, I ordered Ace to do this. I'm responsible. Ace disagrees and says, no, you didn't. I did this on my own. I'm responsible for where I am right now. And Whitebeard is like, nope, I did it. I told you to do this. This is completely on me. Isn't that right, Marco? We'll talk more about Marco soon. I love Marco. He says, isn't that right, Marco? Marco's like, yep, heard it with my own ears. And despite Ace doing all this on his own and really probably going against Whitebeard's counsel, Whitebeard's response is to show up, take ownership of Ace's mess, and say, no, actually, that was my fault. I'll take responsibility for that one. And fatherhood, or rather a father figure, a needed figure like this, has kind of been a theme in the series. You have Frankie and Tom, Chopper and the doctor guy, Sanji and the eat his own foot guy. We have a lot of situations like this where there's, someone who really needs someone to lean on and someone to just be there for them, and there's someone there doing that. But Whitebeard is kind of the encapsulation of that figure that we've already played with several times in this series. He's kind of the culmination of just the dad who comes in and says, your problem is my problem. Your mistake is my mistake. Come home with me, son. And unfortunately, it's not quite as clean cut as that, but it really is beautiful. Whitebeard had my heart from the very start, simply because, the theme of family by choice, of adoption, of taking in children as your own, whether they're your blood kids or not. This is all stuff that hits pretty close to home for me. I'm in the middle of an adoption. Hopefully by the end of this year, our daughter will be home with us. If you've ever seen my review for Peter Pan, I kind of dig into that a lot more, that love for that theme of adoption. And Whitebeard, from the very get-go, with him taking on these people as his kids, and then the more we get to see of Whitebeard, and the more we get to see of their backstories, and the more we get to see of his heart, and how he takes on all these kids as his kid, these people as his kids, and why it got me on a real personal level. So anyway, the war has essentially begun already, yet Whitebeard is Whitebeard turns to Sleepy Navy Guy, one of the coolest, most powerful, awesome characters. I love his powers. I love his demeanor. I love his strength. I mean, he's one of the most powerful people in the world at this point. He's definitely like, he's an admiral, right? So he's really powerful. And Whitebeard is just like, this upstart. Like, what are you doing, man? The war's already here. But Whitebeard, he's got all kinds of sass, and I adore him for it. So the battle begins. The Whitebeard pirates charge in. We have incredible new devil fruit powers that we get to see in action. We have beautiful, awesome double spread fight scenes, and we have more amazing one-liners, a lot of times delivered specifically by Whitebeard, like when Whitebeard and evil, stupid lava guy face off, and Whitebeard says to him, wouldn't your powers be better used if you were like blowing out birthday candles? I adore him. Baby Oars shows up. Baby Oars is another character that I love this character so much. An unreasonable amount for the amount of page time he got. I mean, I instantly love him because he must be a descendant of Oars. You know, Oars, the guy that we hung out with his dead body. That's so morbid. Back in Thriller Bark when Luffy's shadow got put inside of him and then he encompassed the spirit of Luffy just in a much bigger, more destructive body. And I never actually knew Oars. I never actually met him, but I feel so attached to him because of the time that I spent with Luffy in Oars' body. Or at least Luffy's spirit, shadow, in Oars' body. And then we see Baby Oars show up. We see a descendant of Oars show up. And I instantly am attached to him. But then we see that so short flashback of Ace trying so hard to make Baby Oars a straw hat because he is closer to the sun, so he must need protected from elements even more than anyone else, or closer to the sky. So he tries to make him this hat, but because he has fire fist, because he's a fire fist, because he has fire hands, he has a really hard time making it. So he tries and he tries and he tries and he tries to make a bunch of them, and he finally completes it, and he offers it to his brother, to his pal, to his friend. And it means so much to him. And we get just these short few panels of Baby Oars going out in different weather conditions, like rain and like snow, and people are like, why are you out here? And he's got this hat on that covers his head, but not his body. His body is not protected from the elements, and he's like, it's protecting me from the rain. And it's just probably the cutest thing I've ever read, and I feel like I learned so much about Baby Oars' personality in this tiny little spread that I adore him, and I want all the good things for him. So he's determined to save Ace because of the bond that they have and because of the relationship that they've had. So friggin' Doflamingo, or whatever his name is, furry pink coat guy, cuts off Baby Oars' leg. Somebody stabs Baby Oars in the back. He falls, and freaking Flamingo is celebrating as he's walking away from the downed body. You've got, I have never hated a character so fast as I did in this one scene. This is not where Baby Oar dies. He keeps fighting, and he serves us so well, but he does die. And this is actually one of the deaths that hit me really hard. As far as characters that I just met and then they're gone as quickly as I met them, this hit me way harder than it should have. But I feel like I I love him. And it's so sad. Oh, right. So then we get freaking Flamingo goes on a monologue and starts philosophizing. He delivers these lines. Kids who have never known peace and kids who have never known war have completely different ideas of right and wrong, because the side of justice will be whichever side wins. So generally I hate when characters will stop in the middle of a battle or in the middle of whatever, when characters just pause the story to philosophize. It doesn't really fit. It doesn't really make sense to the story. It doesn't make sense to the characters. Why are we doing this? This fits what we're doing. It fits, I mean, I don't really know freaking Flamingo Man, but I believe it from him. It fits what we're doing. And it's just so interesting to me because there are several times throughout this arc where something like this happens, where people just drop these lines where it's like, whoa. Like, I genuinely take a step back and I'm like, we could spend some time here just dissecting that thing. But they also, they fit so organically. They fall at the right time. And then they come back around. I'll reference it later. Another moment that hit me hard was when Garp, Garp has a ton of internal struggle in this entire arc. There's a lot that he's dealing with. He believes in the Navy. He believes in what he's doing, and he's loyal to what he serves. But at the same time, he's loyal to his family. He was not the perfect parental figure, and I still have a lot of mixed feelings on him, but he cares about these boys that he raised. And I think the line was something along the lines of, I have no tolerance for piracy. I have no tolerance for lawbreakers, but for my family, I do. And he sits down next to one of the kids that he raised, to one of his grandsons. I know, not by blood, but he is. He sits down next to one of his grandsons, and it's kind of like, he doesn't want this for Ace. He can't really do anything. I mean, he can. He doesn't want this for Ace. But he's in the position that he's in, so he'll sit down next to him and wait with him. And I guess in that moment, that's probably all he felt like he could do. And I don't know. I like that moment a lot. Oh, and then Luffy arrives in exactly Luffy nature, by falling from the sky in the loudest, most interrupting way possible. He falls from the sky, lands in the water. Jimbei, my sweet, wonderful Jimbei, goes through and collects his devil fruit users while grumbling about how high maintenance or how frustrating or how difficult it is to take care of these silly devil fruit users. Plops Luffy onto the ship, and then Luffy just pops up and screams for Ace. And I love this parallel of Luffy happily, excitedly yelling his brother's name because he's finally gotten to him, he's finally found him, and then Ace, terrified, scared, yelling his brother's name because he doesn't want him in danger. So the team strikes a power pose. Crocodile tries to kill Whitebeard. I thought Crocodile was on our team. I thought he was reluctantly with us. But instead, he escapes with us. And then as soon as they're escaped, he's like, free agent, I'm gonna go kill this guy. The most powerful man in the world. Luffy blocks it. I think the reason is because Ace cares about Whitebeard. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Luffy and Ace are... They're not Luffy and Ace. Luffy and Whitebeard are teamed up now, right? They're fighting for the same cause. So we're good. we're good. With these two fighting together and all the forces behind them, we're good. And Luffy, as soon as I think that, Luffy essentially says something along the lines of, don't tell me what to do, old man. I'm gonna be the pirate king. I'm gonna do what I want. And I'm like, Luffy, Luffy. Whitebeard does recognize Shanks's hat, and I think it's adorable that Luffy is like, oh, you know Shanks? Yeah, I'm holding this hat for him. I'm gonna give it back to him soon. I love that he still views the hat that way, because I don't. I view the hat as Luffy's. It's his. He's the straw hat. But I love that he still is like, yeah, I'm gonna give it back to him someday. Man. I'm pretty sure this is the moment where Luffy displays some really powerful haki, and Whitebeard acknowledges, oh, okay, I see what's inside of this kid. Yeah, he can fight next to me, which we'll come back to. Then, what was it? Oh yeah, Moria. Moria shows up with his little zombie army. How cute. As if Luffy's not just gonna walk up and start pushing him back into the ground. I'm just kidding. That's not what happens. Actually, I'm pretty sure Jimbei is the one that takes care of all that. He shows up and he's like, those guys can't deal with salt, right? And he just like handles it. And then Moria's like, why would you do this? And then Jimbei just punches him and he's out. Oh, Jimbei. My Jimbei. I love. So there is a trope used here that I really hate, and that's the I'll hurt you so that I can protect you. I'll make you leave me so that And Ace does do this when Ace is, yelling at Luffy, there's no place for you in my life. Don't you see? I have family now. What do I need with you? What can you do for me? And I do appreciate Ace's position here, his desperation. He just so badly wants to protect Luffy. He so deeply and desperately wants Luffy to just leave so that he won't be harmed too. I get that. And so he's doing absolutely everything in his power to assure that that happens. I just don't like the trope. Probably just because I've seen it too many times, and too many times I see it devolving into this, oh no, Ace doesn't like me now. Oh, I'm destroyed. I'm so hurt, even though it's clearly a tactic. I'm so grateful that Luffy doesn't fall into that. That Luffy is just like, I'm your little brother. I'm coming. I adore Luffy. I also love that in that same moment, as he's just like, no, I'm here to save you, he just punches one of the Navy guys and he's like, get out of my way. I adore Luffy. I respect Ace's terrible, horrible, awful position he's in and how desperately he wants to protect his brother, and that's why he did that, and I accept that. But I love that Luffy didn't fall into the trap of this trope, and he was just like, no, I'm coming. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's all I talked about in the first clip that I lost, so future Murphy. The Navy or someone reveals that Luffy's dad is Dragon, probably to dehumanize him and so that people will be even more apt to kill him, because one theme in this terrible power system is that if you are the descendant of someone who is bad, we should just snuff you out just in case you might be bad too. Technically, I mean, Luffy has kind of already proven himself in that regard. So, whatever. I find it interesting that everybody calls him, from this moment on, Dragon's son. Or at least everybody in opposition to him calls him Dragon's son. Which I think is, military tactics dehumanizing your opponent so that you can justify killing them even more, right? So, they reveal that, probably to motivate people even more to kill him, just like they did with Ace, just to justify what they're doing. And with this reveal, we get one of my favorite Boa moments, which is everybody reacting and gasping and being shocked at this reveal about Luffy's parentage, and then Boa just simping and saying, even if you are a demon spawn, I still love you. It's funny. We got actually a lot of pretty good Boa moments. Well, a few pretty good Boa moments here. We got to see her in action finally, which was neat. We got to see her, more than just like Devil Fruit, but also we got to see her like properly being cool and fighting and being awesome. Some of it was off page, and I'm pretty mad about that. There were some great moments of simping, like when Luffy hugs her and she's like, "Is this marriage?" As well as action. But then we also just hear about the fact that she took out the entire Pawpaw army. Big Axe Guy showed up with an army of Pawpaws, and Boa alone took them down, and we didn't see it Are you kidding me, Oda? I specifically requested this. I specifically said I wanted to see her in action. You gave me a taste of her in action, and then you did that off page? I understand. I understand that you can't show every element of the action that's happening in this war, but Boa? You can't show me Boa? Oh yeah, she also, when one of the Pawpaws, before she took them all out, when one of the Pawpaws is about to kill Luffy, Boa steps out in front of him and stops the attack. Which, by the way, I would like to point out that Luffy is so deeply and desperately overpowered in this war. I mean, so overpowered in this war. He has a strong fighting spirit, as Whitebeard put it at one point. He definitely has the determination. He has a goal, and he's gonna bulldoze a wall on his way to it, as always. Except this time, the wall's a lot bigger and a lot stronger than he is, and he will die. And I don't know, is it too early to talk about this? I love that. I love that throughout this entire arc, over and over again, we're shown that Luffy cannot do this. He is not strong enough. He cannot survive this. Repeatedly, he ends up going up against someone that will take him out, whether it be an admiral, whether it be Pawpaw, whether it be, I think at one point, Doflamingo. He goes up against a lot of different foes, and each time someone steps in to fight for him. Jimbei does it, Boa does it, some other people do it. And they do talk about this in this arc, and this is something that I've kind of been theorizing for a while, that Luffy has this draw to him that these really powerful people just kind of fall in line and dedicate themselves to him. We see this with our Straw Hats, who, you know, are powerful, but, you know, there's obviously, the world's obviously a lot bigger than just them, which I love. But then we also saw it all throughout the last arc, where these people are not only teaming up with him, but in the case of Swan Guy, actually sacrificing themselves for a mission that, like, isn't even theirs. They're just trying to help someone out. But this happens a lot throughout the series, where people just kind of fall in line with him and follow him so readily and easily. And I've kind of had a theory brewing for a while, probably because of clues that Oda has left, that there's some sort of, you know, I still don't really understand what Haki is, but some sort of unseen force around him that brings people kind of into his orbit and starts circling him and protecting him. And I mean, I think it's essentially confirmed here that's exactly what's happening, that Luffy's Haki, I think that's what is doing it, is so strong that these forces of nature like Jimbei and Boa, etc., these people are actually just falling in line with him. And when he's facing an opponent that is too strong for him, that will take him out, that they just step in. These people who are more powerful than him are protecting him. And I really like that. I really like that dynamic of Luffy. Luffy just, he isn't good enough. He isn't strong enough. He wants to be. He believes that he is going to continue to get stronger and be more powerful than everybody he knows. But the reality is that he's not there, and he's fighting a war that he's unprepared and incapable of winning. And all these people that are so much stronger than him are doing everything in their power to make sure that he can win. In the case of the Whitebeard pirates, they're doing this for the sake of Ace. But in the case of, you know, this ragtag team that Luffy has collected in the last arc, they're doing it for him. I'll expand on that more, because that definitely is heightened later on. I just really appreciate that Luffy doesn't come in here and just, you know, and he isn't a powerhouse. I mean, he's always been a powerhouse, but in this case, he comes in and he isn't one, and the powerhouses around him are the only reason he even got as far as he got. And I think that that's really good storytelling, to have our protagonist not be the most powerful person in the room. Not only that, but genuinely doesn't even make the list. And yet, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. And yet, the main character doesn't feel like a weakling, doesn't feel disappointing in any way. But then all these people who could carry the story on their own if they were the protagonist, they fall in line to protect him. And they're all characters, I mean, at least for me, they're all characters that I genuinely care about a lot. And it hurts me to see them potentially endangered. No, not potentially, in danger. But I don't know how to articulate it. It all works. It all works so well. In the midst of all this, we also see Ace absolutely devastated that all these people are fighting and being injured and dying for his sake. And then we also have Whitebeard, you know, with a very focused mentality, delivering lines like, "Don't you let him die, Marco." Just this family of Whitebeard pirates are so devoted to just bringing back this one family member that is lost to them. They will go down trying to get him back. Buggy is amazing in every single scene he's in. He, of course, unsurprisingly, I mean, Croc kind of surprised me, but Buggy doesn't surprise me. The fact that as soon as they escape, that he's just like his own free agent, doing what he can to protect himself, and he's just on brand. And I love that Whitebeard so easily just manipulates him into fighting alongside them, or at least having his men fight alongside them. So Pawpaw Bible Guy is dead. I have theories around him. We'll get to it when we get to the tinfoil hat, if my voice will even survive that long. But he's now dead. Piece by piece, they turned him into a weapon until they just turned him into nothing but that, and he's no longer with us. Because they've turned him into so much of a machine at this point. And he knew Iva. I have theories. We'll get to them. More amazing fights between Crocodile and Diamond Guy, Crocodile and Flamingo Guy. Hawkeye shows up, and he's the one connected to Zoro. Holy cow. He cut through an iceberg. I mean, he did a lot of amazing things. Holy cow. That man is powerful. More amazing one-liners, like when evil Flamingo Guy that I want to hurt, when he says to Crocodile something along the lines of, "I thought being an impel down might have humbled you," and Crocodile just smirks and says, "Well, if that were true, I wouldn't be here, would I?" I like Crocodiles. I like Crocodile's demeanor. Oh yeah, we also get incredible, amazing, I mean, Buggy's amazing in every scene that he's in. But this scene where Luffy snatches Buggy from the sky and uses him as a human shield. Listen, I understand, I get it. Luffy understood the consequences of what he was doing, which is essentially none, because Buggy has the chop fruit, the cut fruit. Buggy can be chopped up. And so Luffy gets that what he's doing is acceptable, but the insult is still there. And I also love this scene, not only, oh yeah, and then Luffy too also, after that happens, and then Luffy bolts, and he's like, "I'll never forget you, Buggy." Like he didn't die. I love it. But then also I love this scene because this is where we kind of see Buggy's new attire, which he's essentially swiped a naval uniform, but crossed out the Navy symbols. And that's how Buggy dresses now. And it's just my favorite thing. Oh yeah, it should also be mentioned that after Hawkeye slices through Buggy because of Luffy's incredible insult, Buggy just turns around to the greatest swordsman in all of the world, who is terrifying. He just turns around to him, starts yelling at him, and then chucks a Buggy ball at him and bolts. Man may be incompetent, but he gets the job done. In fact, as we talk about Buggy, let me also mention that because of Buggy's sheer awesomeness, we have a fleet of freed prisoners, people who have done terrible deeds on the earth, and who are we assume are they're powerful enough to be an Impel Down, which is the biggest prison of all, right? So we have hundreds of these people on our side because of Buggy. Because they're following Buggy, and because Buggy was so easily manipulated to be on our side, we have just this fleet of more people fighting with us. Buggy's the coolest. Oh wait, I'm not done, there's more. So then also too, Buggy hijacks Buggy's people hijacks one of the snails so that Buggy can broadcast himself and reveal in a very scripted way, reveal that he once sailed on the ship of the Pirate King, which is true, that it just reveals who he is, and it's basically he just runs an ad for himself. He displays his face across the world. I assume he's now created an infamous identity for himself so that everybody reveres his name now. I mean, he's gonna be the Pirate King. But not only that, because of this gag, he is the reason that he's the reason that the Navy wasn't able to do what they wanted to do. They wanted to cut all the feeds at the right time. What was the line? Hang on. Cut the video. What we're about to do would lose the world's trust. All the inhabitants of the world need to know is that we were victorious. That's all. That's chilling stuff. And because of Buggy's shenanigans, they were partially unsuccessful at that. The world saw far more than they were ever meant to see of this war, of what happened. They saw really important details that they otherwise would have completely missed. Now the Navy can't, in freaking Flamingo's words, they can't be the ones that decide what's told in history. All because of Buggy. I mean, Buggy stumbles into success, but that success is pretty freaking huge. Jimbei, once again, is amazing because Luffy squares up against Light Guy, who I love. I mean, he's terrible, but I love him. And Light Guy takes him out so easily, and then Jimbei catches him, and then Luffy keeps fighting. It's excellent. And then we finally, my goodness, this is gonna be forever. And then we finally get to the scene where Squidward, I never bothered to learn his name because he doesn't deserve it, Squidward stabs Pops. And I have a lot of thoughts around this. We have established that Pops can dodge anything. He's a lot older, but he has not stopped being the most powerful man in the world. And he let his kid stab him. He could have dodged him. He could have taken him down. He didn't need to do it, but he did. And in that, again, I didn't watch the anime, so I'm filling in the blanks here. But in that, what I see is a very sad dad turning to his kid and saying, "Why didn't you trust me? Why did you trust someone else over me? What did I do to make you doubt me?" And then declaring his love and his forgiveness to his kid despite what he's just done to him. "You may be a fool, but I still love you." Man, that one hits hard. That is a moment. Not only that, not only does he try to understand why this happened to him, and then still tells him, this is a terrible mistake you made, but I still love you. But then he even takes the time to try to reconcile this son's feelings toward another son, and this son's feelings of, you wouldn't do this for me. You wouldn't go through all this for the rest of us. You would only do this for Ace. And as he's been stabbed and betrayed by his son, he takes the time to explain to him, I would do this for any one of you. And to try to not let Squidward have these feelings of resentment and anger for his brother, trying to reconcile brothers, and trying to assure this child, I would do the same for you that I did for this one. I don't have words for it, you know? I also would like to say in this moment that I appreciate my Marco Phoenix so much, because not only is he powerful and he saves my Luffy and he has the coolest powers ever, but also when freaking Squidward is collapsed on the ground crying, which he deserves. I mean, he deserves to feel bad about what he's just done. But when he's on the ground crying while there's still war going on. There's still war going on. And our Pops is now fighting wounded because of you, and you're just laying here crying like a useless lump. And then Marco walks up to him and he's like, are you just gonna sit there and cry? Thank you, sir, for saying what I was thinking. So anyway, Pops is still so powerful, and he's basically taking everything down, and our admirals stop the platform from falling. These guys are so powerful, and their powers are so cool. I despise Lava Guy, but I still really like Sleepy Navy Guy, Ice Guy, and Ice Sleepy Navy Guy, and Light Guy. Light rides in on a cannonball guy. I love their general demeanors. I love the way they act. I love their powers. Lava Guy can go eat dirt. Anyway, Lava Guy fights, there's chaos. The Moby Dick burns, which after everything that happened to the Mary, I feel for Whitebeard and how big of a loss this is. And then Luffy walks up to these three admirals, some of the most powerful people in the world, walks up to them and just like chucks a log at them. The audacity of this child. I love it. Sleepy Navy Guy stabs Luffy. Phoenix Marco comes in and saves him. Crocodile steps into the fight and starts fighting with us. He says, I'll erase that old man later. There will be no celebrating until then, or something along those lines. Luffy gets taken down by Light Guy. And so Iva, I haven't talked a lot about Iva at this point. He's just kind of around every corner, ready to stop whoever is harming Luffy in the moment. But I think that this moment right here is kind of like the epitome of what Iva is to me in my mind, of like, okay, Luffy's been taken down. What do we do now? A giant head is just peeping around the corner, ready to take everybody out and then blast Luffy with more power so that he can keep moving on. And that's exactly the purpose he served in Impel Down when everything seemed hopeless. Poison Poop Guy was coming for us all, and then a giant head came crashing through the wall, and Iva did multiple times keep Luffy going. And it's just like, this is just who Iva is. A giant head crashing into the scene and solving the unsolvable problems. That's Iva to me. Also in this Iva panel right here, I would like to point out the bottom left panel where Whitebeard scoops Luffy up and then just tosses him aside to another crew member and essentially says, good job, kid. You tried. Now go get some rest. And I think that this panel alone encapsulates so much of what this arc does, which is puts on display how much Luffy is not the most powerful person in the room. I mean, our main character, our hero, our boy that we're following is by no means a real opponent in this war. I mean, he's not. Just the fact that he has Haki so strong that so many powerful players come around him is why he didn't die. And I think this panel alone displays the level of that, of the humbling nature that this arc is for us, the readers, that Luffy is the main character from our point of view, but he is not the main character in this world. And I really really love that. Whitebeard has more amazing one-liners where, like, the one when he's facing against Garp, which that scene is amazing, and he's just like, the Navy hero, the man who has proven himself to be way more powerful than so many people. And Whitebeard's just like, he's some washed up guy. And it's like, Whitebeard, you're old too. Like, and you're still a powerhouse. But Whitebeard can't be bothered with the logic of that. He just needs to put down people before he's gonna put them down. So we get this flashback of Ace asking his dad, well, we see the abuse that he goes through and the amount that everybody just hates him for who he is, for the parentage that he comes from. And he asks Gramps, would it have been better if I had never been born? And Gramps, so I've been reading from Viz, and in the translation of Viz, what Gramps says kind of sounds like he's being a jerk. But then, you know, some of my patrons gave me the fan translation, which says you'll have to keep living to find out, which is a much nicer thing than what Viz made him say. So anyway, Ace keeps living, and he's in this position where, once again, as a parallel to what we saw from him in his past, everybody hating him for what he came from, and then now he's here today, and he's hated for what he's done, but then his parentage is revealed again, and suddenly everybody changes the way they see him, and they hate him even more. And it's kind of just the same thing happening to him once again, where his parentage taints who he is as a human. And in the midst of that, as everybody knows who he is, his family is still fighting for him, and it changes nothing for them. And we get this line, Pops, Luffy, all my shipmates, they're all bleeding and dying for me. It touches me so deeply. The tears won't stop flowing. And there's so many scenes like this with Ace where, you know, the world is exploding around us and we just keep going back to him, and he's in the same spot doing the same stuff, but, I mean, not doing the same stuff, but, you know, he's just hurting. Whether he's trying to get Luffy to leave, or he's fighting Pops so that Pops won't take on his burden for him, or he's just in sobs, realizing what everybody's done for him. It's such a great reminder of just the state of absolute despair that Ace is in throughout all of this. I can't imagine being in Ace's position of accepting your fate, accepting that, you know, you're about to die and it's your own fault, and fine, but then seeing so many people you care about sacrificing themselves, some of them actually dying, people you truly love and consider family dying to save you when you're here because of yourself. Like, I can't imagine the pain of that. Kobe has also had tons of internal conflict throughout this entire arc, and I've been waiting for him to do something. I've been waiting for, you know, him to act on the conflict of, I'm a Navy man, I want to fight for the Navy, I believe in this cause, and then also just not really believing in the way it's all going down and really hurting for the amount of pain that this war is causing. He finally does something, and dadgum you, Kobe. He steps in front of the punch that Luffy's throwing to get to his brother. Tons of people come in to fight Whitebeard at once, and he stands there and he takes it, and then he just swipes them all away with his epic "I am Whitebeard" line. Whew, that man is another man that dominates every single panel he's in. And then after that, all of his people come in and stand in front of their pops. Oof, chills. Luffy uses more of his Supreme King haki, and Whitebeard says, show me what kind of era you will create. I have theories around that too. We'll get to it. And then Whitebeard tells his people, back up Luffy with everything you've got. And we go. More quippy lines like Crocodile when he's facing Hawkeye, someone incredibly powerful and terrifying, and he says, I'm not in the mood right now. You better watch out, Hawkeye. I love crocodiles so much. Awesome Scissors guy has just been hanging out in Iva's hair. And Iva's like, I need you now. And he's just like, got his line. He's like, sure. He shows up, he scissors up the platform and raises it up so that Luffy can get to his brother. So Luffy goes up to the platform and Garp jumps in between them. And Garp is... We have very strongly established how powerful Garp is at this point. Garp could take Luffy in 2 seconds. And Garp says, you're gonna have to get through me to get to him. And Luffy says, I don't want to punch you, move. Garp can take Luffy out. We know this by now. We've seen how powerful he is. But Garp gets a flashback of his kids. He gets a flashback of the boys when they're young, and a flashback of him hitting Luffy, and says, he decides, I can't hit him this time. I can't keep standing in the way of these boys. And he takes the punch. He lets Luffy hit him, he takes the fall, and Luffy goes on. So now Luffy is at his brother. Boa handed him a key a while back, so Luffy just rushes up to his brother. Light guy snipes the key and it breaks, and then freaking Mr. 3 wax fella shows up out of nowhere, and he's just like, Luffy sees a comrade and instantly trusts him and instantly is like, let's go, wax guy, like he did back in Impel Down. And he tells him, he's like, make a shield. And then he just trusts him to do it. So Luffy balloons up when other important guy. So this guy is very powerful, and he's just been chilling this whole time. All the time this war has been going, he's just been hanging out, guarding Ace in case something like this happens. So now it's his cue. So he turns into whatever the 4 key is, and he starts fighting. So Luffy balloons up. Wax guy waxes up. Wax guy makes a new key for Ace's cuffs, like he did back in Impel Down. And then they're falling. And we have the beautiful, beautiful contrast of Luffy smiling in the midst of this chaos because he's finally got his brother, while his brother has a hold of his vest and he's pulling him down. And Ace is free. So the brothers square up, they stand back to back, and they're ready to fight. They have some just beautiful dialogue. Luffy is just so filled with joy. He's got his brother, you know, and he's like, of course I can keep fighting. And Ace is a little bit more practical, and he's like, he's getting ready to continue this war and to fight his way out and to protect his brother. And Luffy is just a kid. He's just so happy that his brother is here with him. Squidward finally stops crying like a baby while his friends die, and he stands up and starts fighting. Good job, Squidward. Finally not useless. I'm being too hard on him. No, I'm not. This is the part where Pops stays behind and orders his kids to go. And says, like, this is the end of the road for me. This is the end. So get out. And I was expecting this. I was waiting for this, actually, pretty much from the very beginning of this arc, because at the very beginning of the arc, someone mentioned that Pops' health has been declining for a while. And that is the same thing that was said about Roger right before he disbanded his crew and offered himself as sacrifice to die, because he was gonna die anyway. So once this line happened for Whitebeard as well, I've been waiting for Whitebeard to sacrifice himself because he was gonna die anyway. At least that's my assumption. I mean, I assume we're gonna build on this more later on. We're gonna see more about Whitebeard, and we're gonna see that, you know, he was already at the end and he knew it. So he came into this war fully expecting to not leave it. That's just what I think. So anyway, he tells his family, he tells his kids, he tells them all, this is it for me, get out. And he's gonna go out fighting. Before Ace can fully accept this, before Ace will do what his dad told him to do, he bows down and he thanks him. And at the end, when Whitebeard knows he's gonna die, And when his kids are retreating, the one thing he has to say, the one question on his mind is, were you happy with me as a dad? Evil, horrible, I want you to die, lava guy. Bates Ace. After all that Whitebeard has done, and after all that Whitebeard has done for Ace, for all the time that Ace has been with him, and after all that he's become for Ace, and now with this final sacrifice that Whitebeard is making, and Ace knowing I'm never gonna see him again. And then Lava Guy shows up and attacks his character. Oh, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad because of course Ace is gonna take that bait, and I don't want him to. And then when Ace takes the bait and he pauses and he stops, Lava Guy goes after Luffy. And Ace takes the punch. And I knew this could happen. I went into this arc knowing that this could be how it ends. I knew this could happen. I thought it wouldn't. After all of the people that got behind him, that got behind Luffy, that got behind Ace, after all the force that it took to get us this far, and after freeing Ace, I thought we were in the clear. And in this moment, I was so mad at Ace. I was so mad at Ace because after everything that just happened, to put it all on the line, to take that daggum bait, that was clearly bait. And I was mad at Jimbei because Jimbei was right there, hearing the bait happen. Like, he heard the words. He saw Ace stop. He was standing next to Luffy. And it's like, Jimbei, we needed you now like we needed you back at Impel Down. We needed you to scoop Ace up and to remind him, we have a goal here. We have a mission. Don't let Whitebeard's sacrifice be in vain. Don't let all of these people have died in vain. Let's go. We needed Jimbei to be for Ace what he was for Luffy when Luffy got sidetracked by Blackbeard and almost missed his mission to fight someone more powerful than him. Jimbei scooped him up and he told him, focus up. And they moved. I needed Jimbei to do this for Ace too, and I know I'm being unfair. I know I'm being unfair to Ace, and I know I'm being unfair to Jimbei, but that's how I was feeling in the moment. I was so upset. But it all makes sense. I know why Ace took the bait. I mean, how could he not have, really? I don't know why Jimbei didn't do the thing, but he didn't. So we get this scene of Luffy holding his brother, saying, we need a doctor, we need someone to help you. Since he was still living, he just had hope. Ace telling him, I'm sorry you couldn't save me. We get the flashback of Ace's childhood and all he went through. And then he told Luffy, you're the only reason I made it this far. Protecting you was what I had to live for. He says, but there's one thing I've left undone. I wasn't able to see your dream through to the end. But you, I know you can do it. You're my little brother. And we leave it on Ace saying, thank you for loving me. And this hurt way more than the death itself. You know, knowing all that Ace went through, knowing him being rejected over and over and over again for his entire life, not even knowing if he should go on living because what purpose does he really serve, and then finding his purpose in family, and then finding more family through Whitebeard, and having that wholehearted acceptance from his brother and from the Whitebeard family that he got. And then in the end, he still died. Dadgummit, he still died. But he died smiling. Because he went out being loved and accepted by so many people. And then we see Luffy crumble. I'm trying really hard not to just cry in every single video. But these chapters, man, I was a mess. Ace's death was not a complete surprise. I knew it could happen. I thought we were in the clear. But it was his final moments with Luffy that killed me. Okay, I took a break for a little bit. I'm back. So, Luffy, evil lava guy comes in and tries to kill Luffy too, in the moment of Luffy crumbling. Jimbei and Phoenix Guy save him. Jimbei carries him off and enter Whitebeard. And man, honestly, at this point in the story, I'm just so broken and drained, and it feels like the world should be slowing down, but all it's doing is picking up some more. I love that in the moment of Luffy crumbling and losing it, that the world doesn't slow down. Even though it feels like it should for me as the reader, it doesn't. The bad guy is gonna take that punch. You're broken, I'll break you. That's what would happen in this situation. It's hard for me as the reader to process, but that's exactly what should be happening if we're writing a war. So they're escaping, and dadgummit, I'm emotionally spent, and power players are still rising up to bring chaos in, and I don't have it in me. But the war is still going on, so tough luck, Buttercup. Strap in. So anyway, we finally find out why Blackbeard wanted to be warlord in the first place, so that he could get to Impel Down, free all these prisoners, and wreak chaos. Whitebeard's still in the fight. He's bringing the whole place down, crumbling. Which, by the way, I guess I should also mention, it was rough seeing Luffy watch his brother die after all this. Gramps watched Ace die after all this. And Whitebeard watched his son die after all of this. And it's like they're still in the middle of the war. It's not even over. It's not even over. They have to keep going. Well, most of them do. Okay, so Blackbeard and Whitebeard's, it's time for them to face each other. And I'm expecting this big epic fight, but no. Blackbeard is laughing. He's like, haha, see? You can't use your powers anymore. And he doesn't even get through the sentence, and Whitebeard just axes him to the shoulder and takes him down. And oh my goodness, this man is powerful and amazing to watch in action. He does, we get a flashback seeing that Blackbeard has the D name as well. And then Whitebeard says to Blackbeard, "You're not the one Roger's been waiting for." I do have a theory, a half-baked theory floating around in my head that Roger's not dead. We never saw the body, us readers. And it is possible, the tinfoil hat's not on yet, it is possible that it was kind of a similar situation to Ace, and they cut the feed, and, you know, they didn't show the whole execution. Maybe Roger got away. I don't know. Or it could have to do with this Will of D thing that's floating around. I have a lot of half-baked theories in my head at the moment. But Blackbeard's not the one that Roger's waiting for. I don't know what it means, but it means something really important. Blackbeard rises up, announces that there is one coming who will challenge the world, Luffy, that the One Piece is real, and apologizes for not being able to take Blackbeard out before he's done. And he dies standing up. And Whitebeard, I have not known you for long, but man, do you deserve the legacy you hold, and I will miss you. We get this line, neither that mighty body nor his pirate's pride suffered even one coward's wound. I didn't know him for long, but he deserved to go out standing. We do also learn in this, somewhere in this chaos, that we get to see a flashback of him and see that all his life he wasn't seeking power, he wasn't seeking glory, he wasn't seeking to be the pirate king, but he was just seeking family. His one motivation in life, his one goal was to just have a family. And not only did he accomplish that for himself, but he provided that for thousands of people. He died having accomplished his goal of having a family, having a massive, beautiful family. But he died having provided that dream for every person that served under him. And he became the most powerful man in the world to protect his family. Not to accomplish something, not to be something, to protect the people he loved. And he succeeded. And I don't know, man, I just met him. I mean, I didn't just meet him, I met him a long time ago, but I just met him. And he's definitely one of my favorite characters. He's incredible. I also want to point out, I've kind of already touched on it, that I love that at this point in the arc, Luffy's out of it. He's not even present. I love that we have spent so much time building up the reality that Luffy is just a blip on this map, that he is not the strongest player in this world. And when his world crumbled, and he crumbled with it, we have built up so many powerful, deep, important to us characters that Luffy is allowed to be taken out of the fight, that he's allowed in this moment of absolute disparity to crumble and to just break from the inside. And that's his posture for the rest of this arc. He's done. And so all these other powerful characters that we've built up are the ones that stand and that carry this arc the rest of the way. And that they were built up well enough that they succeed at doing that. I love this moment for Jimbei. Unfortunately, Ace, you're reading too much into me. I'm not as charitable as you think. Even if he's your brother, we're in the world of pirates. Unless I genuinely like him, I will refuse to help and protect him. Jimbei, we get that flashback of Jimbei in the cell with Ace as Jimbei is carrying Luffy away to safety. And right before Jimbei squares off with freaking Lava Guy, Jimbei is trying to get to the water so that he can be more powerful, so that he can protect Luffy. He takes a hit, Luffy gets hurt. Jimbei is just broken over this, over not being able to protect Luffy, over being the cause of Luffy suffering even more pain. Freaking Crocodile enters the scene again. He's the one that saves them. Buggy, by happenstance, also takes part in saving them, latches onto Jimbei's back, they're flying off, and then Jimbei thanks Buggy and admits his failure to Luffy. And Buggy's like, I don't care about that. I just want to be saved. Like, he's so unabashedly himself. He's so unabashedly incompetent and doesn't care about anybody but himself. Law enters the scene. Law, the incredibly powerful, awesome, amazing supernova, enters the scene, and Buggy asks, who's this nobody? I love Buggy. I love Buggy. I love Buggy. Kobe drops the line, the voices in my head are disappearing. Excuse me? What does that mean? And then Kobe, or before, I don't know, before, after that line, Kobe delivers his speech, where he steps out and he essentially says, let's stop fighting. Any future fighting up to this point is just causing more death. We can actually save people. You know, this isn't worth it. Kobe, the one who was this sniveling, scared little boy back when he met him, and that, you know, we still see so much conflict in him throughout this entire arc, him stepping out in front of one of the most powerful people in the world, squaring up against someone who will kill him with a backhand, him stepping up and standing in front of him and challenging what he's doing, accepting his death, but knowing that what he says needs to be said. This is an excellent moment for this character. This display of bravery from such a fearful person is great. Freaking Shanks is here. What is he? One of the 4 emperors. He's one of the 4 emperors. And I love him for everything that he's done up to this moment. And he enters the scene. Kobe, his little speech is those precious seconds allowed Law to get Luffy free, allowed, what's his face? Shanks, character I just gushed about, to enter, to be able to end this war, and all that he does. Kobe is instrumental. But anyway, Shanks is here, so we're gonna talk about him now. So Shanks picks up Luffy's hat. I mean, it's Shanks's hat. He picks up Shanks's hat, and he lets it go, and Law catches it. And I think somebody asks him, are you gonna go see Luffy? It's been a while. And Shanks is not gonna go see Luffy. And his reason is because they had a deal that they would see each other again and Luffy would return the hat when Luffy was much stronger. And Shanks says, we would be breaking our agreement if I saw him now, which indicates that Shanks expects Luffy he expects a lot from Luffy. He sees some future in Luffy, and he's waiting until that time before they meet again. And I have theories around it all. We'll get to them in just a minute. So a lot happens here with Boa sailing off, with Luffy, and with Law escaping with Luffy, helping Luffy to escape. There's a lot going on here. But I'm just gonna keep focusing on Shanks, if you'll let me. So, with someone in the Navy, Shanks says that he wants it all to be over, and someone in the Navy responds, since it's you, red hair, I'll take responsibility for it. Excuse me? Is this because Shanks is so ridiculously impossibly powerful that this guy is just like, okay, I bow, I bow before you. Sorry, I'm losing my voice now. I've been here for a long time. Is that why? Or was Shanks a part of the Navy before? Do these people know each other? Is there some sort of loyalty and bond between them? And Shanks has a history with this fella, and that's the reason he's doing this? I don't know. But anyway, the war is over. Shanks is insanely ridiculously powerful and so freaking cool, and I don't understand half of what's happened here today. but I did love it and hate it. As I said in the beginning of the video, I think this is the most masterful arc that I've read in One Piece yet. The setups, the payoffs, the emotional highs and lows, the fact that we can take out our entire Straw Hat crew, be left with only Luffy. Luffy is terribly overpowered. We, the readers, are horribly humbled at how much he's overpowered. And Luffy can just be taken out of the fight, and the arc still stands. There's still so many important, well-built-up characters that can easily and effectively carry the entire rest of this arc. I mean, like, it's brilliant. The execution of it is brilliant. Luffy went through a lot to save his brother, you know, like he put off going to find his crew. He sustained terrible injuries. He lost over 10 years of his life. But honestly, I mean, and not just Luffy, you know, tons of people, people that have found family, people who a lot of people really cared about, died for this mission. And they didn't succeed. Ace didn't make it. And I worry for Luffy, for what kind of mental state he's going to be in the next time I see him. But I also just genuinely don't think that Luffy is going to look at this as, look at what I sacrificed for naught. I really don't think he's going to see it that way. I think he's going to see it as, and I'd do it all again. I'd go back. I'd give up, 15 plus years of my life. I'd take all the injuries. I'd put off saving my friends. I would do it all again if I could have the chance to save him again. I doubt Luffy regrets what he put into trying to save his brother, because if he didn't try, I don't think he could have not tried. And I think looking back, he'll say, at least I tried. At least I put everything I had into trying to save him. And I imagine what's left of the Whitebeard pirates, which is a lot, will feel the same way. It's a devastating loss. The people that they lost, Whitebeard as well as their brothers. It's a devastating loss, but I imagine that they're not looking at this with bitterness of didn't even work, but of we did everything we did everything we could to save our brother, and we'd do it again. And it was hard to read, but it was so good. It was so good. Okay, if you're still here for some reason, we still have some theories. Paw knew Iva. He was part of the Revolutionary Army, I'm sure of it. Iva even said Paw would never volunteer for this. He hates the world military or the Navy or something. He hates whoever he's with now. I think he was part of the Revolutionary Army. And I don't think he volunteered for this position. I don't know. Maybe he got offered the position of a warlord. He decided to go on with it. And he did it with the intention of maybe harming the Navy from the inside. Or maybe he was going to be a boa where he's like, yeah, I'll take the power, I'll take the protection, but like I'm going to do my own thing. And then they decided to experiment on Paw against his will. And they took his life against his will as well. But at the point that they were going to take his life, he already knew what was happening to him, and he had no choice. And that's why he said to Luffy before he pawpawed him away, that's why he said to him, we're never going to see each other again, because he knew that his death was coming. So Paw was a part of the Revolutionary Army. He never supported the Navy, even though he always did what the Navy said. He always followed commands, but I think that's part of the experimentation. They forced it on him. Why? I don't know. What's going on here? How did they do this? How did they take him and experiment on him against his will? How did they force his will around them? Yet he was still aware enough that he knew what was happening to him and he could resist in his little ways, but he's still, I mean, were they holding someone he loved captive? Were they holding something over him? I don't know. I don't know. I want to know. I do think, though, we'll never see each other again, so he knew he was about to lose his life, and he pawpawed them away when he was supposed to have brought in their heads. I do think that he pawpawed them away with the intention of protecting them. I think he knew this war was coming. He knew that the Navy was provoking, that the world government, whoever is in charge here, was provoking this war. And he knew that he was supposed to bring Luffy's head. He wasn't going to do it. And he knew that Luffy was going to participate in the war and he didn't want him to for whatever reason. So he tried to get him as far away as he could. He tried to make it impossible for Luffy to interfere. I think he was protecting Luffy. I don't understand it. I already mentioned all my theories about Whitebeard, about how Whitebeard came into this battle expecting not to leave it, about how he was sick already. He knew that his end was coming because his health was declining, so he gave himself up for this, knowing that he wasn't going to come out of it. I already shared that theory. I do have some stuff about Shanks. Man, actually I should talk about the Will of D first, shouldn't I? There is a line that Whitebeard said, just as there are some who inherited Roger's will, someone will eventually do the same for Ace. I know that this will, which Luffy's, it's so much to try to figure out. I know that this will is passed down from person to person according to something that has nothing to do with blood. I believe that Ace inherited Roger's will. Now, what Whitebeard said indicates that multiple people can inherit Roger's will. So it's possible that Luffy has inherited too, but also we know that Dragon, Luffy's dad, also has some really strong will or haki, or maybe this Will of D and haki are the same thing. I don't know yet. I know that haki, literally translated, is like willpower. Somebody told me that. So maybe it's like the same thing. But either way, I know that this will is passed down. And I believe that Ace has inherited Roger's will. And I believe that Luffy has inherited either Dragon's will or maybe also Roger's will. Maybe he got them both. I don't know. Ace's will is going to be passed down to someone. Who better than Luffy? So, so much to process. So Luffy has this will and haki, so maybe the same thing, that has been passed down. His is as powerful as Shanks and Whitebeard, the power of the chosen one. So I reckon, possibly maybe, after Ace's death, Luffy has now taken on the same power that Ace was carrying. So now Luffy has had a power-up, and he's now carrying the Will of D. I mean, he already was, but now he's carrying it even stronger. This isn't really a theory, it's more like a jumbled mess, but I feel like there are a lot of pieces that I'm trying desperately to put together, and I don't quite have all the material yet, but I might be onto something. Anyway, from that, I also come back to Shanks, who said back in Post-Dennis Lobby when Whitebeard was still Horn-Nose Guy, when Whitebeard asked him, how'd you lose your arm? And Shanks said, I gave it up for a new era. So Luffy inherited maybe Dragon's will, but Dragon's not dead, but Roger might not be dead either. Luffy had already inherited this will and was carrying it even as a young child, and Shanks saw it in Luffy, and that is why Shanks gave up his arm for him. That's why Shanks saved him back when he was a kid, because he saw in Luffy that he carried this power that he didn't even know about, but that every time it's used, everybody around him that understands more than I do sees there's something here. There's something really powerful here. Shanks saw it too because he carries this will. He carries this, maybe it's haki, he carries this thing on him as well. So he recognized it in Luffy, and he gave up his arm for Luffy because he sees that Luffy is the shepherd of the new era, the thing that Whitebeard was talking about right before he died when he said somebody is coming that will challenge the world. It's Luffy. Shanks saw this in Luffy. I imagine Whitebeard did too, because they both have power on the same level of Luffy as far as this will thing. And they both have it as well. They saw it in Luffy. They saw that Luffy is it. Luffy is the one that's shepherding us into the next era. He's the one that will challenge the world and that's about to change everything. But it's not time yet. Shanks said, it's not time for us to meet again. It's not time for me to get the hat back yet. Because he knows that something is coming. He knows that there's some destiny on Luffy, but he's not there yet. It's not time yet. And so Shanks gave up his arm for it. He stopped this war for it. And he's waiting for something that he knows about that we don't. Which just solidifies my idea that Luffy will be the one to find the One Piece. And then Buggy's gonna steal it. I mean, he has to at this point. I know, that's kind of a gag. But anyway, those are my theories. I've been recording for 2 hours. How's your day? Oh, okay. I'm sorry this was so long. You guys keep telling me, don't apologize for long videos. We like long videos here in the One Piece community. Well, I might give you a run for your money on this one. But this arc was an emotional ride. I knew it was gonna be. I was ready for it to pack a punch. I was ready for it to pack a powerful punch. I was ready for it to be emotional and a lot. Despite being prepared, despite knowing that we could end without Ace, it still hit me harder than I ever could have expected. It still hurt me far more than I ever could have expected. It was a lot. And I loved it. It was an excellent arc. I don't know where we're gonna go from here. Bring my straw hats back together, please. I hope Luffy's okay. I hope he's gonna be okay. I hope we still have Jimbei with us and he can join our crew. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what's coming from here. I genuinely don't know what to expect from here. But Blackbeard's still on the rise. And, oh, I forgot to mention that Blackbeard took the Trimmer abilities from Whitebeard after Whitebeard died. So he killed Whitebeard, he covered him up with a sheet, and he took his powers. So now Blackbeard has 2 Devil Fruit powers. So I guess now he's the strongest person in the world, and he's still alive, and he's still at large, and I imagine we are really, 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 really not done with him. I mean, I don't even know what to expect from Blackbeard at this point. And I don't know what to say. I'd love to continue chatting with you about this. I'd love to read your comments. This arc took a lot out of me, but I loved it, but I hated it, but I loved it. It was excellent. It was brilliant. It was brilliantly executed. Oda killed it. I don't know where we're going from here. So anyway, next video will be the post-war saga. Next video I'm going to talk about what happens next with this next short little arc. And then in that video, I'll talk to you about my plans for the reread and for video schedule and all that kind of stuff. I've got plans. It's going to be fun. I hope you'll stick with me. I've enjoyed this a lot. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you on the next One Piece Friday.